I have shared.
Hello, and welcome to this ALAC Speaker Series talk. I am Donna Warren, Vice President of ALAC, and I am delighted to introduce Daniela Dumitru from Bucharest University of Economic Studies in Bucharest, Romania, who is here to talk to us today about critical thinking, creating job-proof skills for the future of work, European good practices. So I will turn it over to Daniela.
Thank you so much for inviting me. It was very difficult for me to choose what to present today because I had so many things ready and, let's say, interesting to present for three European projects, which were in total 9 consecutive years. So you imagine the amount of work and reports and classes, experimental classes mostly. This talk for today is based on an article Diane Halpern and I wrote together at the end of the second project. The second European project was about jobs and these job-proof skills and a better alignment of the university's curricula with the job market demands. The project finished in 2023. You know what happened then? Yeah, AI. We were a little bit, I don't know, annoyed about that because our project could have been in a completely different way and address AI challenge in the design of our experimental curricula. But, well, that was it. And Diane thought that, but let's write an article anyway, linking this new development in our lives, the ChatGPT revolution. And well, this is it. I will start presenting because digital transformation of our work, that's the problem I am tackling now. The employment will change dramatically after the coming of AI and entering AI in labor market. So AI is changing how we work. AI is a generative pre-trained transformer. And well, of course, it has human-like responses. And this led us to this topic, the importance of critical thinking, because we have to have some tools, some instruments, some mental infrastructure which will fight automation, basically. So I believe I will present now some of the work that it was pre-AI, but it works today because of this, because we want to build this mental infrastructure that will resist automation of work. Well, the ChatGPT revolution, well, it makes things very easy, like Claude, for example. This is my students' favorite, Claude, because it writes coding very well. They just have to review the codes and that's it. It's their job. My students from cybernetics, they are coming to have the teacher training classes. So they train to be informatics teachers. So this is why I know this. They say that their work has been shortened with at least 50%, after AI, after Claude, for example, which they prefer. But what are job-proof skills? This is Diane's uh, saying, job-proof skills. You know, we have to say that critical thinking is among job-proof skills. This is one of the skills that will ensure the future workers, let's say, well, better employability. That's the whole point of developing critical thinking, because is among these job-proof skills, and it's here at human attributes. This, well, problem solving, maybe AI it's better than us, because AI does not have a cognitive bounded system. We are bounded, and we cannot grasp all the variables to take to make the best decision. But maybe AI can help us with this enormous amount of data. However, human attributes and conceptual thinking, that's something AI, at least for now, cannot do. I will skip this. Of course, I I put Diane's definition here. What is the common ground in critical thinking? Well, in our projects, we had 33 international participants in 3 European projects over 9 years period. So we have disciplinary knowledge, metacognitive aspects, and cultivated skills. So our projects, all 3 projects, were on this side of embedding critical thinking into disciplinary knowledge, into other classes, into other domains. We did not have standalone critical thinking classes. This was it. So this was our position, our stance to teaching critical thinking, embedding critical thinking into classes. Well, can be learned. Yes, it can be learned, but it's this is the toughest question, and I have almost 20 years now of trying to answer to this question: how we teach and how people learn to be critical thinkers. So shortly, continuous coursework is essential for durable skill development to stick. We want to have profound knowledge. We want to have a skill that will remain, a skill that will transform actually in a personality trait. Critical thinker is, this is my opinion, it's like a personality trait. You cannot obtain that during one class, one workshop, on accidental learning. So, I think I will just give a little bit, yes, skills gap. So employers, like 78% of them, said they want critical thinking to be prioritized, to be a priority of higher education. But when we asked students, graduates, only 34% of them self-assessed them as being prepared regarding critical thinking. Well, AI impact. Well, the low susceptibility and high susceptibility of this job taking by AI? Well, approximately 50% of the it's from the US. We haven't done in Europe this kind of job market impact yet. I think it wasn't been a real priority, or I haven't found something relevant. But well, about 50% of workers' jobs will be impacted significantly by AI. What is not well at risk? It's this: human-led, specialized, and innovative jobs. And what is on the other end of the continuous? The jobs that, well, it's a low human interaction, like captioning, text analysis, and something that is repetitive. That's what is the routine jobs. AI will take routine jobs, and this is a research from exactly 2023 and made by researchers from OpenAI. And it was very interesting why I cite this, because they have done the protocol of research was this: they took job descriptions, coded, and then took what AI can do and coded again, and they overlapped these. And what is not at risk of AI taking the job is all the jobs requiring complex reasoning, judgment, human insight, and these are the most resistant. So critical thinking is really one of the best job-proof skills we need to form to our students. Even in 2011, Acemoglu and author said, making mathematical models too, that AI greatest disruption, they didn't say AI, I said AI, technology, new technology. When some new technology appears, the first affected are mid-skilled jobs. That's what is at risk. So that's the weakest link. Business university collaboration, this is our solution. And these were the second project. And I will talk a little bit about that. Curriculum alignment, business engagement. I mean, we welcomed economic agents, banks, IT firms, schools, well, the outside world, let's say, to come to the university and have curriculum designed by both of us. So in this project, we had a partner from the labor market. For example, because we are an economics university, we had a bank as a partner from the labor market. And of course, we designed real world applications. This project was, let's say, a little bit, was setting the stage. I will just skip on this because this was not with labor market, but this was very important because we had answering to the question of critical thinking across the curriculum. So we had domain-specific, again, research of critical thinking, how it is embedded, how teachers are doing critical thinking across the curriculum. So the STEM fields prefer critical thinking skills. Humanities, of course, prefer dispositions. Social sciences, they are preferring both. Yeah, so we had this interviewing with focus groups, 189 European employers with a lot of domains. It was, I think, 40 40 different activities represented here. Think for jobs. This is what I will spend a little more time talking about. And we had partners from Romania, of course, Greece, Lithuania, Portugal, and Germany. Some of them have been partners in the previous project. Well, common goals. Different perspective, common goals. Of course, we had a little bit of havoc, let's say, setting the things straight with the labor market because of the declarative terminology. We prefer use scientific declarative terminology. The labor market organizations prefer practical, procedural applications. They don't care so much about concepts, definitions, but how those things work, if they work. Well, regarding critical thinking, higher education institutions focus on long-term career preparation, labor market on short-term learning strategies. It was, I'm not exaggerating, it was difficult. It was difficult to make a curriculum together because the differences was, in particular this one, we need time. We need time. We need a semester. If I project something, it's for 14 weeks, not for 8 hours. And we had this big disagreement with them. How can we design a curriculum or many curricula? We had 13 in total design. How can we design a curriculum when they want like a crash course? They need to finish in 2 days, our partners, and we need, well, we say, we have 14 weeks. This is, you have to come into this framework of higher education and to, well, make it better. You know, it was really a real challenge, this. So we had to, well, a partnership development, that MOU, it's Memorandum of Understanding. We had to sign an understanding so we can move on with the projections of our classes. We had blended learning because it was the pandemic. We also had this problem to resolve. So after the 13 joint curricula were implemented, skills improved. We used 2 self-assessment scales, critical thinking self-assessment scale and student educator negotiated critical thinking disposition scale. Dispositions not so much because they need time, they need more time than 1 semester. But we had 609 students in 5 countries. So I think that's a pretty good sample, and we can be sure a little bit, well, more, that the results are pretty much in the truth side, on the truth side. So guidelines for implementation of curriculum, and I will give you in a minute some concrete examples of curricula. Explain the importance, communicate why critical thinking is vital for workforce, and incorporate in a course outcome. So from the start, when you design your your syllabus and your materials, one of the outcomes must be critical thinking, and the students have to know that we aim in our class to develop critical thinking skills and dispositions. Continuous training, of course. Well, we cannot have internalization of critical thinking skills and dispositions if we do not, if the development is not pervasive. It has to be everywhere. It has to be, that's a finding from the other project. It has to be on the university mission. It has to be a goal on the program's mission, and also in each class mission. So that's how critical thinking develops. You have to be an institutional, at program level and class level. Allocate time in your class, time for preparation, real world connections. That is the perfect way to link to the labor market, and actually labor market partners came here to real world connection and embedded practicum or practice, yeah, to the class, to the theoretical class. Pedagogical approaches, 3 pillars. Modeling, demonstrate critical thinking across institutional programs, course level and class level. Induction, you have to provoke critical thinking with open-ended question, complex problems, and real-world issues. Induction, so don't theorize too much, because that will take a lot of time and it's not very productive. Declaration, explicitly state what is at stake. Why does it matter to have critical thinking on the things you are learning in IT classes, in pedagogical classes, and why? So, and come with applicable strategies and criteria for assessment, because sometimes, and this is a lesson I learned from the first project, the teachers might come with critical thinking development activities, but they don't put that into their assessment. They do not assess critical thinking. They assess hard knowledge, the hard skills of their domain, of their class, not critical thinking. And one of the teachers told me, if I want to have a little fun with my students, I will make some critical thinking activities. Fun. And he was a chemist. And he said that I'll never put those activities or those results, learning outcomes, in the evaluation of in the final evaluation. Well, that's very bad, because students will not be motivated if they know that the real exam, the final exam, will not contain these kind of complex issues, controversies, real world problems to solve. They will not do it. They will not prepare for this, so they will not be critical thinking chemist. They will be just chemist. Now, I decided to give some of the concrete work, some curricula. We have developed 2. I will explain 2 of them. Of course, I will go through teacher training programs, because I'm a teacher training department. I'm from a teacher training department, and this is my domain, and I can better explain this domain. But you will see, I have something else to show you. So the pedagogy of economics. This was my class, and it was a comprehensive 14-week course program for the second year bachelor students in finances. They were studying as um, uh, their main program, let's say. In Romania, teacher education is made on the same time with bachelor. They sign up as a separate program to be also teachers of economics, but at bachelor they are initial training in bachelor. So 14 weeks, 125 hours of the student workload, and we had 7 scenarios. I will not present you all 7 scenarios. So core competencies developed: curriculum mastery, instructional leadership, critical thinking. That was put in my presentation of the class, critical thinking. Along with all this, what is curriculum? What is financial education program? How can you monitor, train your progress, communication skills, effective teaching, etc., etc., and critical thinking? How can you improve and adapt your teaching using critical thinking? And strategic design. This is a framework of the class. So we had 2 hours of labor market session. So our partner from the bank came in the university and gave a real life training for 2 hours. Then it was a higher education session, a reflection upon labor market session, the teacher perspective. And then again our part from higher education, working on cases or applications based on this is called the sandwich perspective. You know, it's you can always move to one activity and to another activity, and you're having a metacognition on the first activity, you know, and it's always a game like this. Well, it's a holistic development because we also tackled dispositions, which are problematic to develop. Problematic in terms of effort involved, and also for assessment. So scenario 1, the trainee experience. The students were trainees, just like they had, let's say, no responsibility as teachers. They had to be involved like they were the employees of the bank, and they just listened and interact with the trainer from the bank. Then teacher reflection. They had some organizers, and they were asked, what have you, what do you remember from your class, from this class? It was about saving and investments, the class from the labor market. And they will have to write in the first place, on the first column of the collaborative document, what they remember as knowledge. And then the next column was, for this knowledge, what the trainer had done. What was the activity you were involved? And then the other column, can you name, because they were already, they knew some teaching strategies and teaching methods. Are you able to identify some of those teaching strategies you have learned from the pedagogy class? And they had to link all this sequence by metacognition and inquiry-based teaching, and they had to see how a teaching experience is linked to a particular knowledge, to content, to domain-specific knowledge, and how the trainer obtained that. And then the last column, they were asked to give an alternative scenario. If you were the trainer, do you feel the need to change something, to add something? So an alternative scenario, teaching scenario. So they were first trainees and then teachers. And they had to think about all this stuff. Assessment, how I assess them. Essay writing requiring inference and application. Design a training session indicating contents, aims, strategies, methods, materials, and evaluation instruments. They had to do it in class, not at home, not at home. No, at home they can go to the internet. So they had to do it for real in the class. The scenario number 2. How do you choose a content for an economics lesson? The economics and all our materials, textbooks, all the other curricular documents, the content is too much. It's too much for a 50 minutes lesson. And all teachers must select something that can be taught, discussed, applied in 50 minutes. So they had to read for 30 minutes a 10th grade manual, well, a lesson from that 10th grade, prioritize, identify essential key points, another 30 minutes, match, align teaching methods with content, explore and deliver scenarios to their colleagues. And these were micro simulations. Well, key skills developed: content evaluation and selection, method content alignment, criteria setting and application, and open-minded scenario planning. The infusion approach was, was here because I always emphasized the skills and the critical thinking approach I was using. So I already told you this. This is curriculum number 2. It's also, this is from our colleagues from Greece, also about teaching, because they were also teacher education. You will see a different approach of this. Well, this is science teaching, not economics teaching. So they had 13 weeks, pretty much the same, 150. We had 125 hours, 5 credit points. Well, this is exactly how we had. I don't think I said that. Learning outcomes, it's pretty much the same like ours, but with, I think the plus of this is reflective practice. We do not have that because we are not allowed to. We have classes inside in our campus. We cannot separate teaching and then send students to practicum. This is a completely different class as practicum. And it's in the third year, not on the second year. So this is why we had simulations, not real practicum. But they had. So if you just look at these outcomes, learning outcomes, and it's similar to ours. Again, self-regulation, I don't think was among our objectives. Their structure and timeline, it's week 1 to instruction, introduction to instruction analysis tool, variables, examples. This is something very specific, domain specific for teaching. Then weeks 3 to 5, teaching models, traditional, constructivist, and inquiry approaches, because it's science. They have to teach science. So this is why inquiry and constructivist, it's very very good approach in teaching science. Then week 6, lesson planning. And from 7th week to the 12th week, they had a practicum. They went to the school, primary school, and implemented their lesson planning, their lessons. So design, prepare, implement, reflect, revise. Again, this revision, you see, we didn't have this part, revision. We just had something like in the laboratory. We were in the lab, but the Greek team actually went to the real world. This is why I choose these 2 curricula to see that. And actually they got better results than ours because of this. Better results at critical thinking. This is what we have tested, not better results at I don't know how they are assessing domain knowledge and skills. Probably different because they had practicum. But this revise, I think it completely, it was not in our curriculum. So that's a part that we did not, well, self-reflection, I had to make read self-reflection also. So in plus, we had flexibility attacked, let's say, with our critical thinking curriculum too. But in this scenario, self-reflection maybe and intellectual courage was at stake. And it's beautiful. I enjoyed their classes. So, well, I have time. Should we play a little bit? Or go to discussions? Because why I had this in mind, I can skip this interaction because if you want to see some of these, just vote. And I will make you a presentations in 30 seconds to see. This is like a buffet, you know, like what do you want to serve next? And my aim is this, because higher education is changing. And this one size fits all. We had one curriculum for all students, you know, this is what we do. I think it will change really quickly. And what I am offering you now, it's like a custom-made class, like custom-made presentation. If you want to see an example of other curricula developed, well, I can serve that because I have AI now. You see, as a teacher, I am in advantage actually. I can do a presentation in less than 30 seconds about any curricula you want.
So we already have Mark. Mark is voting for
Yeah.
economics and industrialization. So I say in the
Okay,
interest of time, let's go there. Let's do that.
let's go there. You see, I have all these downloaded here, and I will open an AI presentation here, and I will make you a presentation. 7 slides, just like all the presentations you have seen. Industrial. Okay, I was hoping that somebody choose gynecology, but well, next time. I cannot see this one. I'm uploading, and let's see. These are our colleagues from Germany. They were from an engineering school, and they have developed, I will go for concise, and then I will choose 7 cards and let magic begin. Well, meanwhile, micro-credential is something that European Union is trying to introduce into universities because it will be very difficult to keep students for an entire program. You see, they want to go to work. They want to have, and it's possible now. They go to work, I guess, at the end of the first year. Okay, it's still generating less than 30 seconds I had. So students can take like half a class, and we can recognize their credit points with a specific, with a one clear assessment. And yeah, that's it. I have a presentation. Economic aspects of industrial digitalization, they have 2.5 credit points. It means like half of our time, around 18, 19 hours. So examines the interrelations between digital technology and organizational digital. It's quite transdisciplinary, interdisciplinary. Learning outcomes, impact analysis, change management, risk mitigation, and business modeling. I guess, well, they had to say something about comprehensive curriculum of critical thinking, if I may criticize them now. So they had 30 contact hours with the labor market. Topics range from Industry 4.0 to cyber physical system to health considerations and organizational ethics in the digital age. So what they had to do is to develop a novel business model. So so they had to present a business model, create it. Oh, just a little bit. Laptop will die. 1 second. Okay. And present to the investors the business angles. So I guess this is where they tackled critical thinking, because they had to present from different perspectives their business models. Skill addressed interpretation analysis, evaluation of pro and cons at micro, meso, and macro levels of their business model. Truth seeking, open-mindedness in examining digital applications, self-regulation and confidence. And Okay, analysis, evaluation, and explanation. These were the critical thinking parts developed. So again, self-reflection, assessment structure. So they had the written exam, presentation, documentation, and self-reflection. Well, pretty 360 degrees assessment. That's always a good idea to have assessment with different instruments, not just one, a written examination. If we have many or, well, complementary, one main assessment method and complementary assessment method to the main one, that's better. So they had done well here. So no single correct answers. Students demonstrate critical analysis from economic, ethical, technical, ecological, health, and social perspectives. It sounded like a very good one, good class. So I offered you this possibility to choose one of the curriculum because we will have to do this soon. Using AI, keep students interested and motivated, and also guided by us. We have to keep them in school to receive the guidance they need. At least this is what I think. And in the following minutes, I will contradict myself, because what you see, it's mind model, and that's non-formal education, where no teachers, there are activities that you need no teacher. And this is also about critical thinking. This is a framework. This is the last project I had. A critical thinker, critical thinking developing from these current to make it bigger. So this is, if you follow these 5 steps, you can make a workshop or a critical thinking activity by yourself, even though you are not a specialist in critical thinking. And we hoped that people can do it, and we've tested it. We had a training with a group, we as trainers, as specialists, and then the trainees had to teach other learners which have not been in our class this: how to be a critical thinker, what is the critical thinker portrait, what do you think about well-being, what is the value of critical thinking for society, and what is the value of critical thinking for a community. These were the topics we trained the people with this framework. And then no teacher. They had to train relatives, friends, children, whomever they wanted, with using this framework of developing critical thinking. And that's it. I will speak no more until the first question.
Thank you so much. We have 8 minutes. Are there any questions?
Sorry.
No,
Yeah,
that's fine.
if I could kind of jump in here. I noticed Mark already sort of alluded to this. In terms of your characterization of your classes and that sort of thing, what pedagogy it's implementing, you mentioned you characterized it as an infusion. I guess I would characterize it more as immersion.
Immersion.
Yeah, because infusion and a hybrid course, a mixed course, which
Yes.
research indicates is by far the best to use, the most efficacious in terms of learning, involves some explicit
Yes.
discussion and training in critical thinking skills kind of in the abstract. You can illustrate their application in the topic at hand, but it's always sort of a timeout. Here's
Here's, yeah.
the critical thinking skill in the abstract. And
Mm-hmm.
and then you go implement it in a vast variety of cases. And that's when those critical thinking skills really take hold and do so in a transferable way. If they're always instantiated in the topic of the course, that doesn't invite transferability. So
Yes.
that's my first kind of issue.
Yes.
The other issue I would say is only self-assessment was used. And
Yes.
that's just if you ask the student, has this increased your critical thinking skills? Of course, they're going to say
Of
yes.
course.
They want to please the
Yes.
instructor. They want to pat
Mm-hmm.
themselves on the back. So I would urge you to find
Mm-hmm.
some more objective means of self-assessment. I'm sorry, means of
Of
assessment,
assessment.
not self-assessment at all.
Yes.
And then you're in a position to pat yourself on the back for your curriculum. That and indeed we had
Yeah.
value added here. So those are my two comments.
Yes, thank you. I think all classes declaring they are doing infusion, they end up doing immersion
Yeah.
because um, all classes where we are embedding critical thinking will repudiate critical thinking eventually. You know,
Hmm.
and that's my experience. This is what I observed. One of the project had observations at one point, and even though in the objectives start were to declare make critical thinking explicit, uh, actually it wasn't. So this is kind of a limitation, and I don't know actually how to repair this.
Well, it's going to be very difficult to do it if you're dealing with a very short-term session, which is what the corporate world wants. We want this done in
Mhm.
a day and a half training session. That's it, and they don't even want that
Yeah,
anymore. Their training budgets have been just well, they're gone.
they're
And
gone.
so
Yes.
it's a real catch-22. If you want a really nice example of a mixed course, that old article by Solon when he
Mhm.
incorporated critical thinking into his Gen Psych course. He
Mhm.
did a great job. He used a nice external objective
Evaluation. Mhm.
evaluation system, namely the Cornell critical thinking test. Uh,
Yes.
I would offer his old article up as a paradigm of
Mhm.
what a good mixture of critical thinking
Mhm.
into his curriculum is all about. And by the way, he did use chunks of Halpern's
Mhm.
text. So that's you should find that very, very accessible.
Mhm. Yes. Yes. Thank you. Uh, well, the self-assessment was the available.
Yeah.
Let's say that was the available testing. Unfortunately, the other one were with payment.
Oh,
So we had
yeah.
we had to choose that. We must have the self-assessment. So um,
Yeah.
again, this was a limitation and uh, cannot be repaired
Mhm.
right now. Yes. I had an assessment, objective assessment, but also with a free test, the LSAT, and I had some. That's a placement test. So
Yeah, and that's really worthless. That's just sort of it tests you just on your understanding of the various ways of stating a conditional, basic syllogistic logic, and
mhm.
basic argument forms like modus ponens and modus tollens. As far as that is just that's not even the tip of an iceberg for a critical
Yes,
thinking test.
for critical
It's really
thinking.
it's really too bad because so many people pass it off as, oh, I'm assessing critical thinking when
Yeah.
it's absolutely irrelevant to critical thinking in a sense.
Mhm. Yeah.
So I just have to interject. I think I have a higher opinion of the LSAT, but
Okay.
just because they do have questions like, here's a passage. Which of the following facts, if true, would
If
strengthen or
true.
weaken the reasoning in
Oh,
that?
Mhm.
okay. Yeah, if they're going that route now,
That's pretty
that's
good.
that's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah, it's
Excellent.
And they have also text reading comprehension, and that's okay, as well.
yeah,
It counts more as critical thinking than logic puzzles.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. A little
Puzzles.
bit more. Yep. Good.
A little bit more than logic puzzles.
I
I,
so
I was I was doing logical puzzles for LSAT Romania, so I know
Wow.
that.
yeah, I think
So
that. Well, I really hate to bring this to a close,
Oh,
but we are at time. Thank you so much, Daniela.
yep. Very
I
good.
really appreciate this, and I'm sure we all do. And we will be proud to post this on our website, and hopefully some people will reach out to you.
thank you so much.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.